In this episode of John's Arcade, we're going back to the garage, guys. That's right, this is part number 7 of the Jump Bug Restoration. And in this episode, we're gonna do a lot of cosmetic work. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Hey guys, we are in the basement and today we're gonna do part number 7. Yes, 7 of the Jump Bug Restoration. That's right, the Rock-Ola Jump Bug Restoration. And guys, you need to buckle up. That's right, put on your seatbelt because this is gonna be a long and exciting episode. We're gonna cover some pretty cool stuff. We're gonna get a lot done in this video, and really, we're gonna be focusing pretty much exclusively on the cabinet in this video, okay? Because the last video, we kind of prepped the cabinet, we got it all ready for painting, and we also got it all ready for laminate. So that's right, because in this video, we are installing vertical grade white laminate on the Jump Bug, and I've never done this before. Ever. So we're gonna do this for the first time together in this video, and I'm a little nervous, I have to admit, because I've never done this. The laminate is not cheap, okay? It's a lot more expensive than a gallon of paint, okay? And if I screw this up, I really screw this up because I really only have one chance to get the laminate right in this video. And again, I've never done it before, so lots of pressure, but it's gonna be worth it, I know it. And then also in the video, besides the laminate, we're gonna take care of all the blue. Really, at the end of this video, the cabinet's gonna be 1000% prepped and ready for final assembly because we're gonna bring it down in the basement real soon. And actually, let me show you something over here. I made a space for the Jump Bug. That's right, guys. You'll notice it looks a little different in the back corner. Well, sadly, I had to let a game go, okay? And I sold the gyrus. It has left the building, so now we have an empty slot right here for the Jump Bug. And so as soon as that game is done, which should be very soon, we're gonna bring it down here and put it right here. Now, I did slide these 2 games down, okay? Paperboy is now in the corner, which is really not a good spot to be because the corner seems to be where the games tend to leave. This is like death row right here if you're in the corner. But you know what? I love Paperboy, and I don't really anticipate, I don't see myself getting rid of Paperboy anytime soon. And actually, I kind of like it in the corner because it's so big and it sticks out. Because Gyrus was overshadowed by Paperboy. You couldn't actually see it back there. It was kind of hidden because Paperboy was hiding it. So now Paperboy's sticking out. And so when we put Jump Bug here, it'll be Jump Bug, Major Havoc, and Paperboy. You'll be able to see all 3 of them. And I think it's going to be a much better setup. And plus, I want to show off Jump Bug. We'll be able to see the side art and all that because it'll be exposed here because the pinball doesn't quite hide the game completely. So anyway, we can't bring it down here though. We cannot bring that Jump Bug down until we finish it. So we need to get to the garage, guys. We got a lot of work to do today. We really do. Actually, this whole weekend, we're gonna kick butt on this Jump Bug. All right, guys, enough of that. Why don't we get to the garage and let's get to work. All right, guys, we are back in the garage, and today we are gonna kick some butt on this Jump Bug. Honestly, we are. We need to get far. We need to be almost done by the end of this video. So anyway, let's quickly review. In the last video, we addressed all the blue here. We sanded it down, we did some bondo, we filled in some holes with dowels. We kind of cleaned the cabinet up. Actually, at the end of the last video, we glued this edge here because the MDF here was splitting at the T-molding groove. And so I threw some wood glue in here and we clamped it down. And it's been clamped now for a week. So the glue is definitely dry. So let's go ahead and get all these clamps off and we can kind of see what's going on. And in general, it's pretty straight because we were clamping it. It did kind of come in a little bit here. I think it's going to be just fine. When we put the T-molding on here, I don't think we'll even notice that that's not perfectly straight. So what I want to do is I want to take all these off, and then we're also going to router a new T-molding groove because we filled the groove in here with wood glue. Okay, so we need to now cut a new T-molding groove, and we'll do that in a second here. And then also in the last video, we addressed the sides of the cabinet, okay? And this originally had some kind of like melamine finish on it, like almost like a vinyl or a paint. I'm actually not even sure what it was. It almost seems like paint. But there was some kind of a white surface over this MDF, and the original finish was just horrible, okay? And so in the last video, we sanded it smooth, we removed the side art, and we fixed some of the holes that were down here, which we're gonna have to sand here in a second. And we just kind of sharpened up all of our corners. So the sides right now are ready for our laminate, because yes, in this video, I hope, we're gonna put the laminate on. We're not gonna paint this. Now, in the past videos, like the journey, the sides, we painted, okay? And it was a freaking nightmare, honestly. I mean, it probably took me 12, 15, 20 hours to paint that journey. Just because I sanded the heck out of it with like really high grit sandpaper, wet sanding, 2000 grit, just to get a really nice smooth surface and not have any kind of orange peel. With this game though, we're gonna use laminate, and I actually picked up the laminate yesterday and it's right here. I got two 4 foot by 8 foot sheets of white laminate, and this is Wilson Art brand. This is vertical grade, okay? They have two kinds of laminate, okay? And by the way, this laminate is like Formica, okay? This is the Wilson Art brand, not the Formica brand, but essentially it's the same stuff you find on kitchen counters, okay? Like when you go in a kitchen and it has that nice white smooth surface or that fake marble look, that's like Formica, that's laminate, that's like Wilson Art, and that's what this is right here. Now this stuff that I bought though is vertical grade, meaning it's much thinner. It's designed for a vertical surface, not a horizontal flat surface. The horizontal flat grade Formica or Wilson Art is much thicker, and it's designed for the countertop of a kitchen. And it needs to be thicker because it needs to be more durable, because it's on a flat surface that's gonna get a lot of traffic, you know, like cans and cutting vegetables on it, stuff like that. The vertical grade is designed for like walls and stuff like that, or cabinets, and it's much thinner because it doesn't need to be any thicker because you're not resting stuff on top of it, okay? And you can see here, this is the back, it's like this gray color, but the inside here is white, and this is a pretty good white. It's very white, it has a very slight texture. This color here is, the finish on this is actually considered matte, not gloss, but it does have a very nice slight sheen to it. It's not like flat, 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 which I was worried about. And I think it's actually a really good color match, okay? It's a nice bright white, and the finish isn't too glossy, which isn't too far from the original finish that was on here. Because this cabinet was very, very white, and we saw that when we pulled the side art off, because the side art was in this area, and it's much whiter here than it is over here. So anyway, all right, so why don't we get to work? The first thing I want to do is I want to sand our Bondo work smooth, okay? And we did this in the last video. We applied the Bondo. We actually had some holes right here because the operator put some kind of an additional lock, like a padlock system, that was here and on the coin door, and so he drilled some holes in here. But you can see now we did a really good job covering that up. We used some dowel rods, we glued those in the holes, and then we put some Bondo over it. And right now I'm gonna go ahead and sand this smooth, and then we're gonna spray paint over this. But right now I want to get this surface nice and smooth, so I'm just gonna use my orbital sander here, and let's just come in here and just get this as smooth as we can, so we feel no transition. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So I'm just gonna come in here, and I'm really just sanding a lot of the Bondo away. So I just want this to be smooth and invisible. That's pretty good, actually. All right, I think I'm gonna stop right here, okay? And you can see, this is where we patched right here, and this is absolutely smooth. I take my hand, I don't feel any kind of bump or anything, and that's perfect. So that's ready to be painted. And there's our little Bondo work where we filled those holes right there. And that looks actually really good, I have to say. Look at that. So dowel rods just work awesome for filling in holes. Look at that. You can't even tell there's ever holes there. All right, and then we also, on the sides, we did some work as well. On this bottom corner here, there was some gouges in there, and I threw some Bondo on there. I'm wondering if I want to put the cabinet on its side. If we can just come over it like this. Let's try this. And I don't have to be so crazy over here because we're putting laminate over this, but I don't want any kind of bumps or anything because the laminate would show those. And I just want this to be nice and smooth, and it really is. So let's kind of put that in here. And let's get this bottom edge here. All right. Yeah, that's pretty great. Okay, so we're ready to put the laminate on that side there. Okay, so now what are we gonna do? Well, I think we should cut the T-molding groove. Now I got a lot of glue. They kind of squirted out here, and I kind of want to get rid of as much of this as I can. Because when we use that wood glue on the T-molding groove here, I used a lot, okay? And it kind of squirted out. I think I'm going to take my sander, just come in here, see if we can sand some of that glue away. This glue is tough. Wow. Man, I have to say, that glue is really tough stuff, man. So I'm gonna turn my sander up to a higher power here, and let's see. Boy, I gotta tell you, man, this glue is some strong stuff. It's like Blues Brothers glue, strong stuff. All right, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my other sander and a little heavier grit sandpaper, because I really want this to be smooth, and I don't want this bump here, because when we put our T-molding on, it's not gonna lay flat, okay? And so we definitely need to get this all smooth across here, then we'll cut our T-molding groove. This side over here is not so bad, but this side definitely is. All right, let me get my other sander, and we'll just kind of hit this thing with a little higher grit sandpaper, and I just want to knock all this glue down. So, all right, let me get that. All right, I grabbed my other sander, and I have 100 grit on here. Let's see how that goes. Okay, I knocked it all down. It's fairly smooth now, and I'm pretty confident that the T-molding will sit nice and flush when we put it on. Just gonna clean this up here. All right, so let's address this side too, because we got some glue. I'm actually a little worried now because some glue oozed out right here, and this stuff is far more durable than I realized. That's pretty good. Okay, so we are now ready to paint, okay? And we're gonna spray paint all the blue. That's the plan here. We really should clean the cabinet up before we paint it. It's full of sanding dust. And also, I do wanna tape off all these areas with some newspaper and some masking tape, because we don't wanna get the spray paint inside the cabinet. There's just no reason to do that. And also, we got to take off, I see the speaker and the fluorescent light fixture too. We haven't completely removed every component on this game. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand the game up, and then we're going to take off those last few remaining parts. And then I want to clean, oh, actually, before we do that, what am I saying? I want to cut the T-molding groove real quick. Let's do that while the cabinet is on its back. And I do want to do this before we paint. So let's do that really quick, actually. So I'm going to use my router, and I have a a T-molding bit. It is a slot cutting bit. I got this on Amazon. It's Freud 63-100, I guess is the model. On the back here, slotting cutter with 1/4 inch arbor. Okay, and you can see it cuts in a 9/16 inch deep slot that is 1/16 inches thick, okay, which is perfect for T-molding. And I've used that a bunch of times, and it always works out perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our router and just kind of come in here and cut a new groove, because we filled that in with glue. And that's okay. Let's get rid of the glue now with our router. So let me grab the router. I actually already have the bit in it, and it's right here. So you can see there's our bit. And this is just an old cheap router. I got at Sears probably 15 years ago. I've had this thing forever. All right, let's plug it in. And I'm gonna put on some glasses. I don't have, where are my safety glasses? I'm gonna put my sunglasses on while we do this, because I don't want any sawdust or chunks flying into my eye. So protect your eyes. I'm just gonna throw these on. And so all we're gonna do here is I'm gonna come in, see if I can show you guys this. And whenever you do wood repair on corners or just replace pieces of wood on cabinets, a lot of times you're gonna have to come back in and cut a new T-molding groove. And it's pretty simple if you have the right bit and the tool here. So I wanna make sure that this all lines up nice, and it does. And there's an adjustment here on the router right here. You can turn this to adjust the height. And so I wanna just kind of line it up with the router off, and just make sure that that bit is kind of dead nut center inside the groove, okay? And you can see that it is, okay? So when we power this on and we continue the groove all the way down the cabinet, it'll stay in the center here, and everything will be nice and even, okay? Now I did get some glue down in here, so I'm gonna have to come in here and cut this. So why don't we do this area first? And I'm gonna come in and just make sure we're lined up, and we are. So let's go ahead and just cut this section first. Okay, we kind of botched it a little bit here. I think we'll be okay though. Let's try it up here. Okay, I'm just kind of looking. Definitely put glasses on, because this stuff is flying in my face. All right, so let's come in here, and I'm gonna put my glasses on, and we're gonna go all the way across. Okay, it's actually working perfect. I have sawdust all over my face. Definitely wear glasses. Okay, looking pretty good. And now let's come down here. We got to make this turn here. Oh man, I'm covered in sawdust. All right, so let's make our turn. Okay, that all looks good. We're hitting the leg here. I probably should take that leg leveler off. Ooh. Yeah, let me take this leg leveler off, because I want to kind of just go all the way around. I think we're okay there. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need to continue. So, all right. So we cut a nice 16-inch new groove all the way across, and we need to do the same thing on the other side now. So let's come on this side, and this looks okay in here. There's a screw in this groove. Okay, so I need to start cutting right about here, and then go all the way down. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we cut that all the way down. That went a little smoother on that side. Now you can see though, because where we squeezed it in, this T-molding groove is not completely centered now. It's a little, I mean, it's consistently a straight line, but because we clamp this wood down, you know, it kind of wavers off center. I think it's gonna be okay. When we put our T-molding on, I think it'll be just fine. I don't think you'll even notice that this wood comes in. The T-molding might stick out a little bit beyond it. I think it'll be just fine though. So, all right, let me clean up here real quick. We'll stand the cabinet up and let's start cleaning this thing and getting ready for paint. Okay, we have the cabinet standing up here. I just took my leaf blower and just blew it off. Got all the dust off of it. I actually blew a lot inside our fresh T-molding groove, so all that dust is gone. Actually, I took my palm sander too in between takes here, and I just kind of went inside here and just sanded a lot of the grossness off of the ledge here, because there was a lot of like kind of dirt and just kind of mouse stuff going on. It was kind of gross. So anyway, all right, so what are we gonna do now? So I need to take off parts, okay? Because if you look up here, we've got these two little bolts right here, okay? And I don't necessarily want to paint over those. Those bolts are holding the fluorescent light fixture in. And if we come up in the front here, you can see that in the back down here, we have a speaker grill that I do not want to paint blue, okay? And also the bolt holding the speaker on right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this grill. So we need to take that speaker off. It's just the right thing to do here. So let's kind of come in here and just remove the speaker grill and actually the whole speaker. And I'm probably going to paint that grill black because it is black and it's metal. So we should just paint it black. And then we're going to mask this off with some newspaper and some masking tape just so we don't get blue paint inside this area when we start spray painting. I just basically want to minimize as much blue paint as possible getting inside this cabinet. So let's pull this speaker off. And we have 2 wires here. So we're just disconnecting the wires going to the speaker, and then there's just 4 little like nuts that are holding this thing on. And I probably should throw these in the tumbler. All right, there's 3. All right, there's our 4th nut, and the speaker should just lift right off like so. And what is that, like a 6x9 or something? 4x6? What is that? You car guys probably know. I think that these speakers they use are really very similar to car speakers. All right, so let's pop off the speaker grill, which, so we're gonna have to get these nuts off. There we go. So I'm just knocking these little carriage bolts off of here, which will release the speaker grill. Okay. So we got those 4 carriage bolts, and here comes the speaker grill. And it's a little rusted, so we'll paint this black, and it'll look real nice. Looks like it was originally like a silver color? No, it was black. Okay, so we'll paint that. So let's put that to the side for now. And then we're gonna have to come to the front now. I do want to, I could probably leave the light fixture in. Let's not be lazy. Because, I mean, there's just like those 4 little bolts on the top that really no one can see. The carriage bolt heads, but really we probably should take this off. It's the right thing to do. So let's see, once we take this off, this is all gonna drop down. And let's just see what happens. Okay, and we've got a ground wire right here. So let's just get this off. Just take the bulb off for now. And on this side, same deal. So this is all just gonna fall in there. I'll probably just leave it loose. Yeah. Let's take this off. And this. Okay, let that fall and just pull these guys out. Okay, so now we're all ready to paint our blue. Okay, so there's one more thing I do need to remove, and that's down here. We've got these little straps that hold the control panel on, and we need to take those off. Let me see if I can find my screwdriver. Where is John's electric screwdriver? Here it is. All right, so let's take these little straps off, and there's just 2 screws holding those on. Okay, there's 2. And I think all these parts that we're removing right now, I'm going to tumble. We've got time. We can let them tumble for a couple days. And now let's get this one off. 1, 2. All right. So, are we ready to paint? I think we are. Let's take a look. I'm wondering if I should clean up the cabinet a little bit. I think we should probably wipe it down. It's still a little dusty. We've got some kind of gunky areas over here. Maybe I'll grab my sander and we'll just kind of clean some of this up. Just kind of do some spot checks. Because I don't want to paint over, garbage. I don't want to paint over imperfections. Like right here. That looks good. And inside the control panel, it looks a little meh. Like I said, I think in the last video we were talking about someone spilled like soda in here. So. Much better. So we'll just take our sander and just do a little spot cleanup. That all looks real good. Okay, I think that all looks pretty good. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get some paper towel. Actually, I have some right here, and I think we should just spray this all down. I could probably use water. I'll just use some Simple Green, and I just want to wipe this down, let it dry before we paint it, because I don't want to paint dirt. And where's my Simple Green? Let me find that. Hang on. Okay, I found it. So I'm just gonna spray this down. I just want to get all this dust and stuff off of here. I'm gonna let it dry. Just want to wipe it down real nice before we paint it. Because we've been working on this cabinet, so there's a lot of crap and stuff that is just kind of stuck to this thing. So let's paint a nice clean surface instead of a dirty one. And you got to be careful on these like particle board surfaces, because they do tend to snag the paper towel, and you definitely don't want to paint over those paper towel snags, because they'll come off later. You'll get the game in your basement and you didn't realize that you painted over paper towel pieces, and the pieces will fall off, and then you'll reveal naked wood underneath. So just make sure you wipe off any of those paper towel like little fragments that come off, because you don't want to paint those. I think this is looking pretty good though. Spray the front down. So I'm pretty jazzed to see this thing, blue, and then I'm super jazzed to see it white. I mean, I cannot wait till we get that laminate on. I'm not scared, I've never put laminate on though, so we're gonna be doing this together for the first time, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. I think it's gonna save us a ton of time. I mean, just a ton of time. The laminate is more expensive than the paint, right? But you get, I think, better results, and you also save yourself a ton of time. So it's kind of a trade-off, you know. You can spend, you know, $50 on paint and supplies, which is about what it costs, you know, when all's said and done. And you could sit there sanding and sanding for hours and hours, or we could do the laminate, which costs, you know, 3 times as much. You know, I spent about $150 on the laminate and the glue, which isn't cheap by any means, but I think we're going to get much more professional results and save ourselves a ton of time. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here, cleaning this game up, and then we'll be right back. I'm going to spray the top, wipe it down, the back, etc. Okay, the cabinet is all cleaned up here. I simple greened the whole cabinet inside and out. I also came in here with my sander and just sanded the top here and just got all that gunk off of there because I want a nice clean surface. Now, the one thing we do need to address here is the back door, okay? And my plan is this. I'm going to put the back door on the game, and then we're going to paint the blue at the same time on the back door as the rest of the cabinet. There was a sticker on here that I tried getting off, and it was just totally trash. You couldn't even read it. So we've got some gunk left over. I'm just going to put some Goo Gone on here and let it soak. And I think I'm going to come in here and maybe just sand this thing. I cleaned it up really nice with Simple Green, but it was kind of grody. But I'm going to let this Goo Gone soak on here for about 5 minutes or so. Then hopefully we can get that stuff off. I'm going to remove the hardware here, and we'll put some tape in the back, but we're gonna definitely paint all this, and I'll tumble all of these parts here. This lock, though, I'll probably replace with another lock. And it looks like here that actually they screwed the door into the game itself to hold it on, so we'll probably do that when we're painting. We'll just throw a screw right through here to hold it onto the game. But let's let that soak. And then also on the back of the game is a sticker that we need to address. And this sticker that's on here is the serial tag, okay? It's the Rock-Ola serial tag right here, okay? And this sticker, though, well, it's actually not in very good shape, and you can't read it. It's all faded. And the great news is that Etienne in the Netherlands is making me a reproduction sticker to go right here with my serial number. So we're gonna pull this off, and Etienne's gonna mail me that from the Netherlands, and we'll put that new sticker on here when I get it. But for now, we need to get the old one off. And oh boy, it's one of these void stickers, terrific. So we're gonna take this off, and we're gonna paint right over this area, and then we'll put Etienne's sticker on here. But now we've got a big mess, so hopefully we can get it off with the Goo Gone. Let's put some Goo Gone on here, and maybe we can make quick work of this. I suspect this is not going to come off very easy. And might have to just sand this down to see if we can get rid of it. It's actually kind of disappearing now. Or is it? So let's get this off. But all of this prep work we're doing right now, we really have to do this before we paint. Because we can't paint over this crap. We got to do it right. So let's let this dry, and we'll see how that looks. That actually kind of came right off. And then right here, there's a staple. We should pull that out. Let me get my pliers. No sense in painting over the staple. Okay. And let's come back to our back door and see how our adhesive is doing. Looks pretty good. I should get like a plastic scraper. Let's see if we can get it off with paper towel. I'm going to put some more on here, and I'll get a scraper, and we'll scrape that up. All right, so let's come in here with this scraper and just see if we can get this off. It's kind of coming off. And let it soak a little bit longer. So I'm gonna let this soak for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and see if we can scrape the rest off. Okay, it's been a few minutes here. I'm just gonna come in with my scraper, and it's coming right off. Perfect. Nice. All right, so I'll clean this up with some paper towel, and we'll let this dry. And I think I'll come in here with my sander and just kind of smooth everything out before we paint it. So let's let that just kind of dry, evaporate. And then let's actually go over here while we're waiting and see what's going on with this. That looks pretty good, actually. It's dry. I'm gonna take my sander and just smooth it out. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, the back door, and we'll come back and we'll address that. Okay, so let's address the back door now. We're gonna get this hardware off. I'm just gonna flip this over, and we'll take those 2 nuts off, and we'll tumble this stuff, and I'll probably replace that lock. And it'd be kind of nice to actually take advantage of the locking mechanism that's on here, because most of my games never have locks on the back doors. They're always missing. There's just screws. And when they do have a lock, it's kind of a bonus. But honestly, when you get these games, it seems like they always are missing that lock on the back. And it's kind of funny. Where's my hammer here? Let's, okay. And then we're gonna need a nut here to get this lock off. And I don't have the key to this lock, so the lock's gonna be garbage. I'll just order a new one. Okay, so we really just want to save this part here because it's kind of unique, and that will go on pretty much any lock. Let me get my channel locks here. Okay, so then we'll tumble all of these parts here, and the rest we can just throw out. So let me put this in my pile here of stuff to tumble. And this lock completely just fell apart when we pulled it out. I should keep this though and measure this. I think this is like an 1.25 inch lock, 7/8 inch, something like that. I'll keep that for reference so we can measure it and I can order the right lock. I'm gonna have to order a bunch of stuff here to finish this project because I need T-molding. I need locks, I need leg levelers. So we need to order a few things to finish this project. Not a lot though, just your typical stuff, you know. Every project you do, you're always gonna replace the locks and the T-molding and all that stuff. God, look at this. I'm trying to get, it's like a puzzle. Okay, which driver is in the wrong spot? That's preventing me from putting this in its right spot. Whatever, we'll worry about it later. Okay, so, all right, let's take a look here. We got a staple here. We can pull that off. This thing was pretty grody. I think I want to just sand it and get some of the grossness off here and smooth it out before we paint it. So let's grab the palm sander, and I'm just gonna sand this really quick, just to get some of it off. And I'm mostly just sanding this because I just want the grossness off here. I've already cleaned it and it's still grody in spots, you know, so the sanding will just get that extra layer of filth off that the simple green wouldn't. that's pretty good. Yeah, I know. We're doing a lot of sanding and cleaning and sanding and cleaning and sanding and cleaning, but really, that's a majority of the work here. The prep work, the getting, we're getting ready to paint. We're not painting just yet. We're not rushing into painting. We got to do all this prep work. We have to make things clean and smooth, because we just don't want to apply paint over garbage. And you got to take the time here and just prep your surfaces, make them nice. We're increasing our odds of a good product, a good finished product here by cleaning and sanding and smoothing and just removing parts and just making everything as nice as possible before we paint. And this is not fun. There's nothing fun about this. But we gotta do it. All right, so I'm gonna go get some more paper towels here. So let's let this soak. I'll clean up the other side, but we're pretty much ready to start painting now. So I'll wipe this down, I'll let it dry. I'll let it dry first, then wipe it down. And then we're gonna have to start getting ready to paint our cabinet and we're gonna mask off everything with the newspaper and tape. I'll be right back. Okay, we're all dry. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw some masking tape back here so that when we spray paint the back door, we don't get any through this hole into the cabinet, because I'm just trying to minimize my overspray as much as possible. And we're gonna paint the outside first, and then we'll pull it off and paint the inside separately. Okay, so let's come over here. I just actually removed, there's a piece of metal right here. I just pulled that off, and I'll show you that piece. Where did I put it? It is, boy, this garage is getting messy. John needs to clean the garage. There's stuff everywhere. Here it is, right here. So this piece of metal was just like right in here, and it's like a vent. So I didn't want to spray paint inside of here, so I just pulled it off. It was just like 4 nuts holding it on. And then we'll just come on in the inside and just throw some masking tape over this to cover this up. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll just mask all this off. And basically right now what I want to do is I want to just cover all the openings so we really minimize overspray inside the cabinet, because there's really no sense in getting paint inside if we can avoid it. Okay, so that looks good. So on the bottom we have a similar vent, actually the same exact vent, and oh, I probably should remove that too. Let me get my nut driver, and we'll take that one off too. Boy, there's a lot of little parts on this thing. So I'm gonna come in here and we're just gonna pull this vent off. And there's just, this will actually help me clean up the cabinet a little bit too. This is 4 nuts. 2. This part is gross. It's all mousy. It's 3. Okay. And there's that piece there. And let's get our 4 nuts and we'll tumble those. And I want to also mask that opening down there. So let's get some masking tape. So I'm going to go ahead now and really just mask everything off. Just make sure there's no openings that where paint can get inside the cabinet. And I'm going to use some newspaper on the super large openings. So we'll just throw some tape in there like so. And let's go like that. Okay. So on the back of the cabinet, we're going to have the back door on, so that's the only orifices we have are those. And then if we come in the front, okay, we don't want to get any paint inside here, really. And we also have this hole here for the speaker, so why don't we mask that off? I guess the speaker hole we can just do straight up with masking tape. This area up here is going to be a little tricky to mask off. I think we can do it. So I'm just going to put some masking tape back here and cover our speaker grill opening. And I'm just gonna do a bunch of strips of tape over this. And I'm using the blue masking tape. It's about 2 inches wide. I found with masking tape, you're better off buying the better stuff because you don't want it to stick to anything or the paint. You don't want it to lift anything. And this blue stuff typically will come off the cabinet later when you want it to, and it won't remove paint or anything. All right, so that's nice and closed up there. Okay, so we got to fill up this somehow. And I think I'll do that with newspaper. So I think we can come in here with like a newspaper like this and just tape it in there. And so I'll just tape this down like so. And I'll come up like here. Just get these wires out of the way. This is probably about how they did it when they spray painted the cabinet, because you could see the overmask in the corners here. So let's just go like that. And that's pretty good. Let's tuck this behind here. You know, this part of the cabinet inside here you don't see, so we're just trying to minimize how much spray paint goes inside. Like so. Not really looking for perfection with this. Just trying to prevent most of the paint from getting inside. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, so now we have this giant monitor opening, and so we're going to use newspaper again. And I'm just going to come in like this on the back. So let me go ahead and do that. Just kind of come in here like so. Their newspaper. It's funny, I don't even have newspaper. Does anyone, who buys the newspaper anymore? I had to go to the store and buy a newspaper, so I had newspaper to use for masking purposes. And I went on a Sunday to buy it, hoping they'd have like the giant Sunday paper that I remember as a kid. And this was the Sunday paper, and it's really not very large at all. Okay, so let's see if this will kind of go like this. And we gotta still have an opening here. All right. It's pretty okay. Let's see. Don't like how this is open. Let's see if we can come in. This is kind of a pain in the butt, guys. All right, I'm gonna keep going here, and I'm gonna make this as perfect as I can. Look, it's hanky-panky high. Okay, guys, I have it all masked off here. I used newspaper and masking tape, and I basically just filled every hole that I could just to minimize getting that paint inside the cabinet. And then also on the edges, just for the heck of it, I threw some masking tape here all the way around the perimeter, and I had it kind of hanging off just to prevent overspray. I'm really not concerned if we get blue paint on the sides here, because we're going to cover that with laminate. But I figured, what the heck, let's try to be as neat as we can. And so I've got the tape hanging off there. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to throw the back door on, and we're basically just buttoning this thing up, and we're going to be ready to do our spray paint. Yes. Oh my God, we're finally at the point where we can paint this damn thing. So let's go ahead and just screw this in. Or not. it in there? Yeah, that's good. That screw might be a little aggressive and fat for that opening there, but that's okay. Okay, so the back door is on. We're ready to paint. I'm debating right now if I want to paint in the garage or paint outside in the grass. What should we do? I want to kind of lean the cabinet back a little bit when we paint, because in the front here, I really want to get underneath the cabinet as much as I can, because we have a rounded surface down there, right? So I want to make sure I get the paint down around this bull nose, and I think I can do that if it's just laying flat, but should we paint this in the grass? I'm kind of thinking we should. Or should we do it in the garage? If I do it in the garage, it's going to be so much easier and cleaner. Yeah, let's do it in the garage. I'll pull it closer to the door, and I'm going to put all kinds of newspaper down on the ground. All right, let me neaten up in here a little bit, and let me get some newspaper down, and let's paint the cabinet. Okay, guys, I have the game at the edge of the garage. It's on cardboard and newspaper, and we're going to just hit this thing with some Rustoleum, 2x Ultra Cover Paint and Primer. I got this at Ace Hardware. It was on sale, 2 for $5. 2 cans for $5. The color is Gloss Brilliant Blue, and it is a pretty good match. It's actually very, very close to the original finish. The only thing about this paint is it is gloss, okay? And I really wanted satin, and I looked and looked and looked, and I just could not find any kind of satin blue that was even remotely close to this color in a rattle can. Now, normally, I don't really like to spray paint games, and that's just kind of how I've always done everything with rollers, with foam rollers. So painting this much of the cabinet with spray paint is kind of new to me. But you know, the original paint that was on here was spray painted. You know, that's how they did it at the factory. Of course, they probably used some very good spray painting setup, some HVLP stuff, whatever. And we're using rattle cans. So I need to be very careful how I do this. I don't want a lot of paint. You know, I don't want to have tiger stripes, you know, which are these like lines that you get, you know. So I want to stay relatively far back, I think about 12 inches, and I'm going to go nice and slow and get nice even paint, and I'm going to try to overlap my paint strokes. And I just, you know, we're going to start on the bottom, I think. Should we start on the bottom or the top? Let's start on the bottom. So let's start on the bottom here, and I'm gonna like lean the cabinet back as we do the bottom, because I want to get that bull nose. But I think I've mixed this paint enough, so let's do it, guys. I don't want to screw this up. I have to tell you, I'm a little nervous because I want this to look good. And all right, let's come down here. So I'm just gonna and this material is gonna really soak up this paint. I'm actually thinking right now if I should do the edges first. I think I should. Why don't I come in here and just do these edges first? And I'm gonna do several coats. All right, that looks pretty good. And it's gonna take several coats to do. And I bought like 6 cans of this paint, so I think I have enough. It's coming back down here. I really want to get this edge nice. All right. I'm trying to overlap as much as I can as I go up. Boy, I'm really seeing all the dings in this cabinet out here in this sunlight. How are we doing? I'm not really seeing any stripes, which is good. It's gonna take, I think, a few coats. How are we looking so far? What do you think? This is a big area for spray paint, if you ask me. All right, so that's the first coat on the bottom panel. It doesn't look too bad, I gotta say. But it needs two more coats, I'd say at least. So let's go ahead and get in here. And I'm just gonna kind of loosely do this area here because this isn't really seen. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so let's come in here and get this. Come and get this side. You guys aren't really seeing what's going on, are you? And I'm just coming up in here. So I'm kind of changing my technique in here. Hopefully I don't regret it. I have to say, the paint seems to be going on fairly smoothly. I think it looks pretty good. Looks really good. The front really needs a second coat though, just because I sanded that more. But up in here, this looks perfect. So that was almost one can of paint so far just to do the front. I think I might have bought too much paint. Well, let's come back in to do another coat on the front here. This paint's going on actually pretty nice. All right, what do you guys think so far? I think it looks pretty good actually. Just kind of looking around. I think I'm gonna hit the front a little bit more here. Because this is really soaking up the paint down here. All right. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit. Let's move on to the back here. I am kind of feeling this. I'm feeling pretty good about what's going on here. So I want to get the top, and this can is pretty much shot. So we went through one can so far. And the back and the top, you know, doesn't need to be perfect. But God, the front looks pretty good. I gotta say, I think this is working. We're gonna definitely do another coat in the front. But I'm kind of feeling what's going on here. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the top. And by the way, yes, I already sanded and cleaned all of this, so I'm gonna get a stool or something. I'm staying on this chair. All right, guys, let's do this. This is gonna look awesome when we're done. It truly is. All right. That's the top. So let's keep going and I'll do the back.
Can we make up? Can we be friends? Is it too late? Is it all just imaginary?
Okay, we have the first coat on, back, top, and also in the front. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the paint dry for about a half hour, and then I'm gonna come back and do a second coat, okay? Because if you read the instructions on the can, it says recoat within 1 hour, okay? So we'll let it sit for 20 minutes, half hour, and then I'll come back and do a second coat. But I gotta say, what I see here is looking pretty damn good, honestly. That blue looks really tight, okay? Now I see some things that I didn't address when we were sanding, like there's little nicks and dings in this particle board that's really very obvious to me now, but I think it's gonna be okay. But up in here, this just looks absolutely perfect. Up in this area, this looks amazing. So really happy about that. So, all right, we're gonna let this dry half hour, and then I'm gonna come back and do a second coat.
What have we got if we give up?
Okay guys, it's been a half hour here and the paint is pretty much dry to the touch now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a second coat, and it's a little tacky, but it's been a half hour. They said to do the second coat within an hour. So we're still within that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a second coat. The front here, this area here is what really needs the most paint because we sanded the most of that blue away in the front. So we might have to do 3 coats in this area, but I think the rest of the game itself, we're gonna be able to get away with 2 coats. And by the way, we're like old clothes, because like, look at me. My shoes are blue right now. These are my old Docs, and they're blue from the spray paint. I actually have some blue in here from Journey too. But I got old grungy clothes on because this stuff just gets all over you. So all right, let's come in here and just hit this again. And I think I'm gonna end up doing 3 coats on the front. Okay, so that's the second coat, and I'm gonna let this dry, and I am gonna come back in a half hour, and I'm gonna put a third coat on. I'm gonna put a nice, tasteful third coat, but this looks freaking great, and yeah, it looks really good. God, it looks good. Okay. Let's let that dry. I'm gonna come back in a half hour and we'll put a quick third coat on.
If we give
up. Okay, we're done. Third coat, and looks pretty sharp. I'm gonna let it dry overnight now. We're done. We're done painting. We've got 3 nice coats on the cabinet here, and it looks really nice, really even. I'm not seeing any blotches or stuff like that. So that paint went on really nice. And I'm just kind of looking at it in different light here, and it looks very consistent and smooth all across. And I feel really good. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then we'll come back tomorrow And let's see what's going on after it dries, and we'll take all the paper off and all that and really inspect our work. And but right now, I'm just kind of looking in here. I think that, is this paint smudges or light I'm seeing? Can't really tell. I'm seeing some unevenness on the bottom there, and I can't tell if that's the light. Yeah, it's the light. Okay. But I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll come back tomorrow. So, all right, guys. I think we did a lot today. You know, this was all Saturday. It took me about 6 hours to get to this point, so a lot of work, but it does look pretty damn good. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll check on the cabinet after it dries. Okay, guys, it is the next day, and we are all dry. And what do you think? How does it look? How did we do? I think it looks okay. Here's the thing, you know, this bottom portion was like raw particle board, and we spray painted it with gloss paint. So that gloss paint, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's really showing off all of the texture of that wood. And you can see that there's some inconsistencies in the wood, and the gloss is really amplifying that. So the front panel down here, that bottom kick panel, it looks okay. I'm wondering if I should sand it. I'm really thinking about this. I'm worried though, if I start sanding it, I'm gonna have to commit to that, and I'll be out here for the next 10 hours. And I'm almost wondering if I should just stop and just leave it alone. And then also in here, this looks fantastic though. This whole inner area looks really great. In the back here, which isn't so critical, it looks pretty good. The back door had a lot of texture to it also. Just really cheap wood they're using on this cabinet, so you can see all the textures. I did like sand in here just as an experiment to see what would happen. So I took my my sanding sponge and I just kind of came over all of this, and it actually does look a little bit better. And I'm wondering if I want to do the same thing in the front. I can't decide. And then up here, I sanded all this down as well. Just as an experiment. I wanted to do it in the areas on the top and the back because it's not so critical if I screw it up here with the sanding sponge. But I don't know. I think we're going to stop though. I don't think I want to sand the cabinet. And I think we're going to go to the next steps here because in general, I think this is pretty presentable. I think the blue looks actually really good. It's a great color. And once we get this in the basement, we'll never even think about it, you know? So what I want to do now is I want to remove all the paper, and we're going to go to the next steps, guys. We are going to do the laminate in this video. I wasn't going to. I was going to save it for next week. And, you know, the weather's so nice today. It's about 1 o'clock. I went to Lowe's this morning to get a bunch of supplies so we could do the laminate. And I think we're going to do that today. Let's do the laminate. Let's get this over with. And I'm excited to do the laminate, to be honest. And I don't want to wait till next week. Let's do it now. So let's get all this tape and stuff off here, and we can really see our work with this cabinet. I think it looks pretty good. I gotta say, we do have to paint the. We're gonna have to paint the inside of the back door too. I'll probably do that outside. I'll put it out on some sawhorses out there because I got so much blue paint on the floor in here and on my shoes. I ruined these shoes, by the way, but I'm okay with that because these are my my old Docs. These are about 4 or 5 years old, so I have a newer pair that I wear when I want to look presentable. So okay, so let's yank the back door off. I think we're gonna paint this right now, real quick. We're gonna paint the other side of it. I'm gonna set up some sawhorses out in the yard. And we're gonna hit this real quick with the blue paint. So let me set up the sawhorses and we'll be back. Okay, so I brought the back door out here and I put it on some saw legs. And we're gonna paint the reverse side of this. What the hell is that? Oh, foam. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this again with the paint. I've got a little bit left over. I'm not worried about this because this is like the inside of the door that no one will ever see, but we might as well paint it while we can. We'll get the edge real nice. Hope I have enough paint. This is gonna take a lot of paint. Come on in here. Okay, we have one coat here on the inside of the back door. I'll let that dry. Half hour, come back out, throw a second coat on. Again, not too worried, it's just the inside of the back door, but we should paint it while we can. And, you know, paint the edges, make it look nice. I mean, there's no sense in just having one side painted. So, all right, let's go back in the garage and go to the next steps here. Okay, let me show you guys what I did. I'm staring and staring and staring at this piece of wood here, and it was driving me crazy. The unevenness of the gloss and the texture of the wood, it was driving me nuts. So I took my sanding sponge and I kind of went to town on it. And I have to tell you, it was the right move because it looks way better. It looks way more even now. So I'm gonna recommend doing this because it really did make a difference. And this panel, this front panel doesn't look as uneven now, and I can live with this. So I just kind of went all around and smoothed it as much as I could with this extra fine sanding sponge, and I think it was the right thing to do because it just looks way more even now. And as I move around the garage looking at it in different light, it just looks 100% more even. Yeah, that's good. I think we're gonna leave it just like that. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna put the laminate on, guys. So the laminate is in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets, which is way too big than what we need on the sides here. So what I wanna do is I wanna measure the cabinet, okay? And we're gonna cut the laminate down first. And by the way, I've never done this before. I've never put laminate on ever. So we're doing this together for the first time. But I've done a lot of research, okay? I've read up on this on the internet. I watched a video that Lowe's put out. I talked to people. I talked to Sean, the fetish boy, and I got some advice. So what I want to do is I want to measure the cabinet, okay? I want to get the highest vertical point here, and it's 67 inches, okay? From the bottom of the cabinet to the top here. So we are, and what I want to do is I want to cut the laminate. It's 66.5 to this high point right here, okay? So that's the tallest point on the cabinet. And then the widest part is going to be right here, and that is 30 inches. I probably should write this down so I don't forget it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let me find a pen here. Okay, so I want to take note of the measurements because I've already forgotten them. And so the highest point on the cabinet here is 66.5, okay? So let's just take note of it, 66.5. And then the widest point, which is down here, the widest point is 29 3/4, okay? So 29 3/4. So what I want to do is I want to cut down my laminate so it's about, I want it to hang off the cabinet by about an inch or two. We need to commit to one of those. So if we put the entire sheet on here, we're going to have way too much to trim away, right? So we just want it to hang off about that much. And I don't want it to be too close because it'll be harder to line up. But if we have enough of a tolerance, it'll be easier to put on. So I want it to hang off about 1 to 2 inches. So I'm going to have it hang off, man, I think about 1.5 inches. So we're going to add 3 inches to these measurements. And I'm just going to round this up. So I want to cut my laminate to about 70 inches. Okay, and so I'm adding 3 inches. Let's round this one up. We're gonna do 70, so 33. We're gonna do 70 by 33 for the laminate. And I'm actually gonna write it on the other side too, so we just have a note of this. So that's what we're gonna cut our laminate down. So let's double check that again. So 33 inches is gonna be the width, right? And so that means that right here, yeah, we're gonna have plenty of overhang. We're gonna end up with about 1.5 inches of overhang. And then on the top, we're gonna go to 70 inches. And if I measure this again right here, so if we go to 70, it's gonna hang over that much, and we'll have a good 2 inches of overhang all around. So all right, let's cut our laminate down. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna unroll this. I'm gonna remove this right here. So I'm just gonna come in here with some snippers, and we'll get rid of this twine that's on here. And I do need to be careful that we don't crack this stuff, because it will crack. The vertical grade is a lot thinner than the horizontal, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do is, let me make some room here. I'm gonna pull the cabinet out of the way. And we're gonna lay this flat on the garage floor. And I'm gonna put it on the not finished side down, okay? And I'm gonna very carefully here try to undo this. Okay, so we have 2 sheets in here. Okay. I'm doing my best here, guys. It's just me. All right, so let's get this one sheet out of here. We're gonna lay it flat on the ground. And I gotta be very careful here that I don't screw this up. Okay? And I'm gonna put the non-finished side down, and we're gonna cut it from the top. Okay. All right, so we got it on the ground here. Let me move that other sheet and get this a little more center. Hang on. Okay, I had the laminate flat here, and there's a little bit of a chip, I think, right there. So we're gonna cut that part off, okay? So I want this to be 70 by 33, right? So this is 4 by 8. So let me just double check. This should be 96 inches. And it's actually a little longer. It's 96 and a half. So we want to have this be 70 inches long. So let's measure from one end here, and we're gonna mark 70 inches. Let me make sure you guys can see what's going on here. So let's come in here, and I'm gonna mark 70 inches right here, okay? And then let's mark it again on the other side. Okay, and then 70 inches right here. All right, and then we're gonna draw a line straight across with my straight edge. This is kind of not fun, but so we're gonna come in here with my straight edge, and I'm just gonna connect the dots. Okay, just like so. Okay, and we'll continue it to the edge. Okay, so now we're going to score this and cut it. And I am going to use a plastic laminate scoring cutter. I got this at Lowe's this morning, and it's for scoring this kind of laminate. Now there's another way you could do this. You could do this with a saw. And but I'm not going to do that. What you do is you put this on like foam or drywall or plywood, and then you just use a rip saw to cut it. And I'm not going to do that because I have a saw and I don't have a good blade for it, and the blades were expensive, and I needed to buy foam or something to put it on, and this was like $3, so we're just going to use this. And I think it'll be okay. And I'm not really worried if we don't get a really good edge here, because we're going to trim all of this away with our router. So whatever we're doing right now on this edge is just temporary. It's just to get our size in the ballpark. So let's try this tool out here. This is very similar to like a plexiglass score and cut type thing. And that thing's really good cutting into that, no problem. So the plan here is to score this, and then we'll snap it. And I'm not too concerned about being super straight or anything, because the router's gonna end up doing all the work for us. Okay. So let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, that was easy. So that scoring tool is great. Okay, so now we have our 70 inches. Now we need to cut the width. I'm sorry, the length. No, that was the height. Now we need 33 inches the other way. And so let's do the same thing. Let's measure and then cut. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna just do 33 inches in a bunch of spots. So 33. So it's not really coming off very easily here. Use that. Okay, so there's our first piece. So I need to do that one more time. I did get it kind of dirty, but I'm hoping that just cleans right up. Maybe with a magic eraser or what have you. All right, should we double check our sheet, make sure it fits on the cabinet okay? Boy. I think that is the hardest part of all this, by the way, is just doing the laminate, cutting it down to size. I think it's gonna be the hardest part of this whole thing. So I'm gonna put the cabinet on its side and then we'll just line it up, make sure we did that right before we do the next one. Okay, I have the piece of laminate on here and it fits good, nice overhang. We've got a couple inches on all sides. I think that'll be just fine because we're gonna come in with our router, basically just cut to the cabinet and then trim it all around. And that's kind of the plan here. And I think, I'd rather have more overhang, I think, than not, just because it's gonna be easier to drop this onto the cabinet after we put our contact cement on. One thing I'm noticing here on the bottom is I probably should hit this with some paint because this right here it never got any paint. I might just go over to leg levelers because I'm gonna replace those. I ordered new leg levelers. I don't know if I need to do this. You'll never see this. This is on the bottom of the cabinet. It might be okay, but I might want to hit that real quick. I don't know. Let me think about that. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and cut the other sheet down exactly the same as I did this one, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're getting somewhere. And by the way, I did clean up this this sheet here with some Simple Green, and all those scuffs and marks I put on there came right off, so no problem. This stuff's pretty durable, so okay. Let's cut this down, and I'll be right back. Not fun, honestly. Okay, I have the second piece cut. So we got one piece cut, and the other piece is over here. They're both cut to size. What was it, 33 by 70. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's the plan. I'm nervous about this. I'm scared, and I'm trying to come up with the best way to do this. So I thought I'd get a table, okay? So I get a table, and we'll put our piece of laminate on here with the rough side, the side that we're gonna put the contact cement up, okay? And we're gonna apply the contact cement on the laminate while it's on that table. So let's just kind of go over exactly what we're gonna do here, okay? And I wanna talk it through because I'm a little nervous because I've never done this before, and we only get one shot, okay? So here's the basic gist of what's gonna happen, okay? So I have this stuff here. It's Wilson Art 600 flammable brush contact adhesive roller grade, okay? And we're gonna roll this on, okay? And we're gonna put 2 coats on the cabinet, and we're gonna put a coat, 2 coats on the laminate, okay? And then we're gonna completely cover the laminate and the cabinet with this stuff, and we're gonna let it sit for about a half hour, okay? And it says right here, It says to let it sit. I'm reading the instructions, blah, blah, blah. It says let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes, okay? And you want it to be relatively dry, okay? And then after the glue is relatively dry, we're gonna come in here and place dowels on the cabinet, okay? And we're gonna place them over the glue, all right? Over the contact cement, all right? Because the contact cement is exactly that. It's contact cement. We're gonna have one side, we're gonna have the cabinet that has the glue on it, then we're gonna have the laminate with the glue on it, okay? And when they touch each other, when they make contact, because it's contact cement, they are adhered together, okay? But here's the thing, you get one shot, that's it. Once they touch each other, they're never coming apart ever again. And that's why we have the dowels here, okay? Because we're gonna lay the laminate on top of these dowels, keeping the glue apart from each other, all right? We're gonna keep the glue separated, and we're gonna basically remove these dowels one by one and let the glue touch the other glue, and then the thing's gonna stick to the cabinet, okay? But again, we get one shot. And so I really need to kind of practice what's going to happen here, because we're going to have glue on this, and then I'm going to have to come in here like this, I think, right? And I have to basically drop this onto the dowels. So that's going to be the motion like that, okay? And you can see it's not touching the cabinet, it's sitting on the dowels. Did you guys see that? So that's going to be the motion. We just practiced it right there. So so after we put the glue on, we're gonna take it off the table here, and then we're gonna just drop it down onto the dowels, and I think we can do that. That actually went kind of smooth. Should I practice that motion again? Honestly, I'm a little worried about this. So we're gonna come in here like this, I'm gonna pick it up like so, and then we're gonna basically probably go like this, right? And then just drop it on the dowels like so. And then we line it up where we want it, and then we start pulling the dowels out. So that wasn't too bad, actually. I can do that. I can do that. I think having this table next to me is the right move. So, all right, so let's put the glue on. And let's take the dowels off. And then after we drop it onto the cabinet, we're gonna have to roll it with a J-roller. Now, I tried finding a J-roller, as the kids call them, and I couldn't. So the best thing I found was this. The guy at Lowe's sold me this thing. It is a roller. It's more for floors. I think it'll be okay. I really tried finding a J-roller today. I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, I went to Ace Hardware. No one had it. Lowe's was supposed to have them in stock, but they couldn't find it in the store, so whatever. All right, so let's get all of our dowels off. Now, listen, I've already cleaned the cabinet, okay? I wiped it down with Simple Green, so that cabinet is clean, all right? I removed all the dust and all that stuff, so make sure you do that, because we do not want to put the contact cement on dust and stuff. And actually, maybe I need to clean it again, because I'm looking at our laminate, and it picked up some dust from here. I think it's okay. All right, so let's get our contact cement, which is this stuff right here. And I bought a gallon. It's way too much. I think we could have got away with a quart. But that's what the laminate place I went to had, because they mostly deal with professionals, not people like me. And we're gonna use a roller. So I picked up this little roller here at Lowe's this morning, and I got some short little nap rollers. Okay guys, I got it open, and here's the roller I'm gonna use. I think this should be okay. It's a Purdy 1/4 inch nap, and it says for all enamels and clears. It did say on the can you're supposed to use one that's resistant to oil-based stuff. So hopefully this is fine. This actually looks like a really high quality roller. It was like 2 for $6. Okay, so, oh God, I'm getting nervous, guys. There's no turning back after we do this. This is it. We get one shot, okay? And then the routing is gonna be fun. I've never done that before. All right, so I'm trying to think of the best way here. I guess I saw a guy on YouTube do it this way. He just dumped it on the cabinet. So we're gonna just cover this thing evenly and try not to make too big of a mess. Oh God. So this stuff is like rubber cement. So we want to get a nice even coat out of this stuff on here. Okay. Get the lid out of here. I need to go quick, actually, because I'm going to put this on the ground. I need to go relatively quick because we want this to kind of dry evenly, the cabinet and the laminate. And we got to make sure we cover every single inch of this thing. Especially the edges. So I'm just going to dump my roller in the can. I think that'd be all right. I did read somewhere that said you should put 2 coats on, so I'm going to do that. And it did say in the can something about doubling up on the edges. So we got to make sure the edges have a lot of this stuff on it.
I thought of you with someone else. That's the moment
Okay, I got glue on the whole thing, I think, very evenly. And I don't think I missed any spots, you know, down in here. So we're gonna let that, I'm gonna move on to the sheet now and let this dry. And while it's drying, we're gonna be doing the sheet as fast as we can because they're gonna be drying at 2 different times. So we're gonna have to let this sit. You know, this side here is probably gonna have to sit for 15 minutes. Well, we have to basically make the 2 meet in the middle is what I'm trying to say, because this one I've already been working on for 10-15 minutes, and so that the cabinet is ahead of the laminate. So, all right, so let's come up in here, and I'm just gonna do this. I don't care. All right, and let's start spreading this around.
I've been living on in my mind, in my mind, in my mind. It's all I've got left. It's all I've got left. It's all I've got left.
Okay, we're done. I'm gonna let this dry for about 10 minutes or so, and then we're gonna test it for tackiness, but basically you should be able to just kind of touch it and it doesn't pull up, and this is about ready here. Yeah, it's about ready. So I'm gonna just clean up a little bit because I don't wanna trip over that can and stuff, and then I think we're gonna apply this pretty quick here. So I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Okay guys, it's been actually only about 5 minutes here, but this side is really dry, and this side is pretty close, so we're gonna start doing this now. I don't want it to be over dry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick our dowels down here. And right now, if I touch this, it's not lifting up at all, so I think we actually need to hurry here. So let's put our dowels down across this thing, and hopefully this adhesive isn't too dry. And we'll just kind of do this one like so. Let's tighten these up. And these do not stick to this contact cement. All right, so let's space them out kind of evenly here. All right, guys, this is it. We are doing this. All right, so let's go ahead and do this just like we did before. Like so. Drop it right on the dowels. Okay. All right, so let's go around and make sure that it's hanging off the cabinet everywhere before we start removing the dowels. Yep, this is hanging over. So we need to come over this way more. Okay. This is hanging over. So, you know, I left a lot of extra meat on this. Okay. That's good. I'm not too worried about being square here, but I just want to make sure it's hanging over every inch of the cabinet. Okay, it is. So we're ready to do this. All right, so we're gonna pull the dowels out from the center first. Okay, and it's gonna hit. Okay, and we're on. And we gotta be careful here because there's a cutout here. We don't want to crack our laminate. Okay, so let me get my roller. And you know, I saw some guy on YouTube do this, and he just pulled all the rods out at once and let them all drop. So I'm just gonna kind of work my way out from the middle here. Okay. I'm just gonna let it drop. I gotta clean that up. And it's on there. All right, let's do this. I'm just letting it drop. Okay, so now I just need to really just get all these air bubbles out. I don't like the fact I got adhesive all over that. I think we can clean that up later with some acetone. Stupid John. Yeah. Yeah, we had some on the table and it transferred on here. All right, we'll clean that up later. I just don't want to transfer it to the roller. All right. So I'm just gonna go through this whole game here and just roll everything so we have nice, good bond everywhere. What do you guys think of this, huh? I gotta be careful I don't go too close to the edge because I'll crack this stuff. I'm almost wondering if I should just kind of J-roll it real quick, get the router out, cut it to size, and then go back over with the J-roller for some final J-rolling action. Okay, I think I'm done for now. I'm gonna trim it. I was getting kind of close to that top corner there and I did crack it a little bit. I think it's gonna be fine once we trim it, but all right, so I got this bit right here. This is what they gave me at the laminate place, and it's a 1/4 inch flush trim bit for a router. And it doesn't have a bearing, which kind of scares me a little bit, but this is very thin, it's 1/4 inch. They do make some of these with a bearing, but they're 1/2 inch. So this thing's only taking a 1/4 inch away at a time, which I think is safer as far as cracking the material and all that. If you got the one with the bearing, it would be a 1/2 inch diameter when it's cutting everything. So anyway, I'm gonna come in here and put this on my router and just gonna make sure that we can extend this far enough to where we need to be. So let's unlock this. Okay. So that's fully extended right there. Okay, so let's get this in here. I'm gonna bring this down. I'm gonna lock it, and I'm gonna take this here and just tighten this up. I'm a little nervous about this. This whole thing we're doing right now is brand new to me, guys. I've never done this, and I'm just learning as I go. But I understand the basic concept here, so we just gotta take our time. Okay, so that's tight. So let's put this on unlock, okay? And let's come over here. So we have to adjust this, okay? I have to adjust the height of this by turning this. So the cutting portion of this is in the middle of the laminate, and then this part here is going to hit the cabinet and prevent us from digging into the cabinet, okay? So this is the cutting portion right here. So I want to line this up so the laminate is right in the middle of that. So I got to figure out the best spot to line this up at, because admittedly I did give us quite a bit of a hangover here. But I think I can figure it out pretty easily. Yeah, right here, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down here and just kind of eyeball it till I get it in the right spot, adjust it, lock it down, and then we'll turn it on. Let me show you guys how I have the router bit set up here. Okay, so you can see in there the cutting part there. I have it lined up so it's like right in the middle of the material when this is flush. Okay, and I'm going to keep my eye on it as we go around, but. So that should cut only the material. It's right in the middle of the cutting portion there. So I think we're good. So I've been told that when you do this, you should go counterclockwise around the cabinet. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start in the back because if I screw up initially, I want it to happen in the back. So we're going to try to get the feel for this. And I'm going to start in the back and try to establish the feel of this back there first. I am going to wear glasses. I'm just going to put on my sunglasses on, which are pretty robust, and because I am a little worried about getting sawdust in my eyes and stuff. So, all right, guys, let me clean up around here so I don't trip over stuff. But this is it. Man, it's so hot out here. These things are fogging up like instantly. Okay, let's do this. And I'm going to make sure that when I start cutting into this material, I'm going, full speed because I don't want to chip or break stuff. Okay? All right, here we go. You guys ready? John's nervous. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Alright, so there's that first edge there, and that did go pretty smooth, guys. So I got a little bit of variance right here I'll have to clean up. Alright, so now we're going to take this turn here. Okay, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like, I feel like I need to raise this up a little bit. I'm starting to eat into the cabinet. I'm just going to raise this up a notch. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so what I discovered was the bit was a little too far down and it was eating into the cabinet, so I raised it up so that little bullet part is riding right on the cabinet. So, all right, I'm gonna keep going here and just really keep my eye on this as I go around the corners. But it's going fairly smooth. It is. I just need to be careful what I'm doing, so I'm gonna keep going.
You should know that. Don't worry, we don't hate you. We just want you to listen.
All right, guys, we're done. How did we do? It wasn't bad, to be honest. I did have a little bit of a mishap. I screwed up one spot. The bit, I had it too low, and it started digging into the cabinet. Luckily, it's just on the back here. We'll let that go. It's my first time, for God's sakes. But no one's gonna ever notice that. It's on the back, thank God. The front was fine. Everything went really smooth. Once I got the feel for the router, you know, this is the first time I've ever done this. So I'm pretty confident the next time, which is gonna be in about 10 minutes, it's gonna go a lot simpler because I kind of know what to expect now. But I think this looks really good, actually. I do feel like it looks like there's some air bubbles or something towards this side. You have to really look for it and get in the light to see it. But right in here, it's a little bumpy right here. I don't know. Maybe we can roll that out. Maybe we can't. I don't know. You got to be really in the right light to see it. So I'm just going to go to town on this thing. See if we can just roll all of this out. But I mean, I'm pretty impressed with this. I really am. I think it looks pretty great. So I'm gonna keep rolling this. That's better. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling this, and then we're gonna do the other side. Whew! I need to get some kind of acetone or something to clean to clean up this. I might run to the hardware store right now and get some acetone. I want to get a Rockstar too. I am sweating like a pig out here. All right, I'll be right back. All right, guys, I had the game standing up and I cleaned it up very well. I used some acetone to get rid of the contact adhesive that was on the bottom, and it just fell right off. So use acetone, cleans up no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead now and we're gonna do the other side exactly like we did the first side. I put some cardboard down just to kind of help. I don't want to scratch up my new laminate, but I'm feeling pretty good here. I think that this time we're going to have a lot better luck and it's going to go a lot smoother just because I'm a little more experienced now with the router, and I'm going to try to prevent this. This happened, I think, because I had the bit too far down. I shouldn't have done that. It should be really close to the top with the bullet part of the router bit riding on the wood, and the cutter is just kind of barely getting into the laminate. But anyway, I feel pretty good. So let's get set up here, and we're gonna do the other side exactly like we did the first side. But woot, we are getting somewhere. All right, let's do this.
I don't know what to make of this.
guys, we're done. We have the laminate on both sides, and wow. It really sings. I gotta tell you, it looks freaking awesome. I did an okay job routing. You know, you can see it's not perfect. Maybe I was going too fast, I don't know. I seem to always have trouble back here, just kind of came in. But really, in general, it looks just fantastic. I mean, yeah, we could sit here and pick apart everything and find little imperfections, but really, in general, it is really good. And once we put the T-molding on, we won't notice any of this inconsistencies here in the line. And it's very subtle. But I'm just kind of being picky and hard on myself. But I really think it looks freaking awesome. So we've got that side. Our blue paint's looking really good. And then we have this side over here. My God. Yeah, laminate is pretty great. It really is. It's not that stressful. I think the hardest part was sitting on the ground here, cutting it down to the right size. Routing isn't really that hard at all, to be honest. I've never used a flush bit router like that before. I've never routed this way before, and it was pretty self-explanatory once I had the bit in the right spot, and that was kind of the critical point here, because initially I had it too low and it started burning into the cabinet, and we did have one little mishap, and it's kind of a bummer, but whatever, you know, we dug into the cabinet right here, so, you know what, we'll probably never even notice that. And it's on the back, thank God. But what do you guys think, man? I think it looks pretty kick butt. This is gonna be a really handsome game when we get done here. I mean, this is like a brand new cabinet. I mean, just look at it. I mean, the white couldn't be any better. I mean, that is the way to go. And I cleaned up most of it here with some acetone, because I did get a lot of glue on the finish side, and the acetone took it right off. But you can see here, it just added a trivial thickness to that. I mean, it's very thin stuff, and I never really felt like it was gonna break on me. I know that Sean had told me that, you know, that the vertical grade was really flimsy and it cracks very easily. I really didn't get that sense, to be honest. And I used the Wilson art, and I would definitely use this again. And I probably will be doing this again, because if I can find colors that match a game, I mean, white's easy, you know, like Journey Blue would be hard, you know, but you know, and doing the front with the laminate is probably very tricky. I don't even know how I would do that, you know. On the sides, no big deal, because you're flush cutting it to the edge, but that front panel would be very hard. I guess you would pop this off. That's probably the thing to do. Pop this off completely and then put your laminate on here and then do the edges. Yeah, so anyway, all right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. We did a lot this weekend. We truly did. And it's 5 o'clock here. I started working on this at 12. I probably spent 10 hours total in the garage getting this cabinet looking the way it does right now. So I have no idea how long this video is. I'm really glad I did take the time to do this today, because I wasn't going to do the laminate. I was going to do it next week. And you know what? We're done. I mean, we just have to put the game together, put the side art on, and that's it. This game is ready for the basement, and we'll do that all in the next video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. So why don't we go back down to the basement? I think we'll do a couple viewer mail. I'm going to keep it quick and short, because this is going to be a long video, but whoo! And it was hot today. Oh my God. So, all right, guys, let's go back down to the basement. Just look at that. Amazing. All right, guys, let's go down. Woohoo! All right, guys, there you have it. That was indeed part number 7 of the Jump Bug Restoration. And guys, you know what? We really got a lot of work done this weekend. I mean, that was 10, 12 hours of work that we did out in the garage this weekend. And really, the weather was so great. It was actually super hot, though. I was sweating so much. I noticed when I was editing the video, I saw how sweaty I was in my t-shirt. I'm sorry about that. I look kind of gross, all sweaty with the sweat stains all over my Fun Spot t-shirt. But you know what? It really was truly like 95 degrees, and I was just dying out there. So anyway, I'm super excited though, because we are gonna be done. Next video, Jump Bug is freaking done, guys. We're gonna be 1000% done with Jump Bug, and it's gonna be in the basement right over there, and I cannot wait Honestly, I cannot wait to get Jump Bug down here. Actually, I want to play that game. I want to get really good at it, and I want to get a high score. I don't know what the world record is. I think it's actually pretty high, but I'm going to actually put some time into that game. And I have to tell you, yes, Gyrus is gone. I know it sucks, but Jump Bug, to me, is a deeper game. There's more to it. And I think I'm going to enjoy that game more in the long term. And plus, it's just cool. It's different. It's unique. So if you guys have MAME, by all means, check that Jump Bug out because it's a fun little game. It's weird too, man. You know, we haven't really talked about this, but do you guys know that's the first side-scrolling platformer? Jump Bug is the first side-scrolling platform game. Think about that, okay? That's the first game, not Mario, Super Mario. No. Jump Bug, first side-scrolling platformer. Anyway, we'll be back to this topic very soon, really soon, because I'm going to be antsy during the week here, because I'm so close to finishing that game. So I'm going to get out there, and we're going to be revisiting part number 8 really soon. So, all right, I want to do some viewer. Actually, before we start, I need to plug something. Okay, I want to plug something. If you guys are aware, or if you're not aware, me and Matt McCarthy. Matt McCarthy is my really good friend. Him and I do the kill screens. All the music that you hear in these videos are by Matt and myself, okay? Our band is called The Kill Screens. And then Matt and I also have a company called Tomato Interactive, okay? And we make apps, okay? And the app that we're most known for, the app that has done the best for us is Giraffe's Preschool Playground. We were one of the first preschool apps, line of apps in the iTunes Music Store, in the iTunes App Store, and we're also on Android and Amazon and Barnes & Noble. We're everywhere, okay? We got Giraffe's Preschool Playground, we have Giraffe's Matching Zoo, etc., etc. And by the way, I do all of the artwork. I am actually the voice of Giraffe and all the animals in the game. And Matt does all the programming. So I do the art and the voices, and Matt makes it all work. And of course, Matt does a lot of the music. The theme songs are a big part of it. Matt actually does all that on his own. And it's just terrific. So it's the whole package. It's got art, it's music, it's funny voices, and it's educational. Anyway, we released the first Giraffe's Preschool Playground a long time ago. Like long time ago. Like 5 years ago. And we are doing this on the side, okay? And so for the last few years, during our free time, we've been working on the sequel for Giraffe's Preschool Playground, and it's called Giraffe's Preschool Playground 2, okay? Giraffe's Preschool Playground 2. It is out now on iTunes, in iTunes, in the App Store. I guess it's called the Apple Apps. It's called the App Store now. Anyway, the iOS version is out now. It's for everything: iPad, iPhone. It's all one app compatible with all of them. It scales to all the different resolutions of the devices. Actually, let me just show you like 10 seconds of the game in action right here. Find the letter T.
If I could have my very own.
So you can see it's pretty cute, right? I mean, come on, look at it. It's wonderful. It's a fun educational game, and we've gotten so much feedback through the years. I mean, parents love it, kids love it. So if you guys have kids, please support us and go get Giraffe's Preschool Playground 2 in the App Store. It's $2. It's $1.99, and here's a way to support me if you guys want to. So please check it out and enjoy it if you've got young kids. It's a preschool app, so you know it's for the young guys. You know, you older guys probably won't like it. So, all right, let's do some viewer mail. I just printed 2 because I know this video is super long. The first one here is from Carl Perkins. And by the way, if you want to participate in the viewer mail segment, please email them to me at blkdog7@gmail.com. That's blkdog7@gmail.com. blackdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, you have to put viewer mail. If you don't put viewer mail, I will not find it. And by the way, no question is stupid. If you've got an arcade question, any kind of question, any comment, send that as viewer mail, and odds are I'll read it at the end of one of these videos. All right, first one is from Carl Perkins. John, thanks for setting me straight on the Hat Trick Monroe joysticks. They are indeed a unique breed. He actually wrote in before asking what kind of joystick to put on his Hat Trick, and they're Monroes. Attaches a picture of 4 more games from my basement, most recent being an original Dig Dug upright and a Popeye cocktail. The other 2 in the picture are Asteroids Deluxe and Ghosts and Goblins, also original dedicated. That's super cool. The dedicated Ghosts and Goblins are actually hard to find, and the game is so great. It's so hard too. You have been a huge inspiration to me in keeping my arcade hobby alive and growing. Thank you. I want more games for the collection. Anyhow, can you please push me in the right direction for a control panel overlay for Asteroids Deluxe, they are hard to find. Mine is in tough shape and needs to be replaced. Keep up the terrific job, Carl. All right, and he sent us a picture, and by the way, I got this piece of paper wet. But here's his little crappy photo. So, all right, he needs a control panel overlay for Asteroids Deluxe. So let's see what he's talking about. Let's go over here, all right? So here's Asteroids Deluxe. I have, I believe this to be an original. It might be a reproduction. I don't know, but this is the control panel overlay. And it is a CPO, it is vinyl that is applied to metal. It's not silkscreen directly on the metal. And good news, there is a quality reproduction out there, and it's at Arcade Shop, okay? Go to arcadeshop.com, okay? And they're a little old school, though. You gotta call them on the phone, okay? No big deal, they answer the phone. Give them a call and order a new control panel overlay from them, and that's arcadeshop.com. And everything they sell is going to be good. I think Rich at This Old Game might have made those that are at that are on arcadeshop.com. So go there and get yourself an overlay and get yourself all set up. But you're lucky. There is a good quality one out there, and it's at arcadeshop.com. And send me a photo. I'd like to see your overlay when it's on. Asteroids Deluxe is a great game. I mean, if you're going to get an Asteroids, in my mind, I think Deluxe is the way to go. I do. I do. I think regular Asteroids is fun. I mean, I definitely grew up with that. But Deluxe is like got the whole package over there. It's got the black lights and all that stuff. It's really cool. Let me get this adjusted here. All right, let's do one more and get out of here, okay? All right, last one. From Clint. John, I want to convert my Golden Tee 2000 game to a Golden Tee Complete and maybe a Silver Strike Bowling. I'm trying to get an idea of what I should or might pay for the PCBs and what else it might take to do this. What is the difference between the red PCB and the green PCB? I know you have a Golden Tee Complete. Have you done a video on just the game inside and out and maybe some gameplay? I love your videos and how much you make the viewers feel like we are part of the action. Thanks so much, Clint Pope. And he sent me some photos here of his cabinet. So he's got the old school Golden Tee 2K. That's not the 4 series, okay? Mine is the 4 series. And let's go over here and take a look. Now, he's asking about the red and the green PCB because there are 2 different PCBs and they come in different colors, okay? And what's different is the power supply, okay? The power supply is different. So if I have the green PCB, let me get this open here. I have the green PCB, okay, right here. And then they also make a red PCB. So here's the whole setup right here, all right? So this is the Golden Tee main PCB right here. Here's our 3D effects video card, pretty funny, right? And then the hard drive and ribbon cable. And then this power supply, okay? The green PCB works with this power supply and this type of power supply connection. The red PCB has a totally different power supply setup. That's what's different. So if I have a green and I want to convert it to red, I also have to change out the power supply and make the new connections. So it's not just a swap. So not really that big of a deal if you ask me, okay? And then right here I have the Perfect Solution switcher, if you guys can see that. Now to get the Golden Tee Complete PCB, oh boy, I don't know what they cost these days. They've gone down in price because it's not that new anymore. It came out in like 2006, around there, 2006, 2007. So I would say that the Golden Tee Complete, I think if you're $400, $300, you're doing okay, okay? I wouldn't spend $800, I wouldn't spend $1,000. I think this right here, I bought this, oh boy, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Something like that. I think I spent about $500, I think, on this, okay? And I really shopped around, and it wasn't cheap, believe me, but I love this game so much, okay? And if you're gonna get a Golden Tee 4 series, you wanna get the Complete. So I think these days, I think this can be had for more like $300 or $400. I could be wrong, but your current setup, though, I'm guessing is just a JAMA with a standard like arcade power supply because you have the old 2K single board without a hard drive. And then on the bottom here is this game, by the way, has dynamic audio. And when it hears that the audio is getting loud in the room, it turns the game volume up. So right now, because I'm yelling, it turned the game volume up. Like when I have parties and we turn the music on, this thing starts turning its volume up on its own. But anyway, so the Silver Strike computer, which I have in the cabinet on the bottom, that's also about $300-400 these days. So it's not really a cheap setup, you know, but if you're smart and frugal and are patient, you can find this stuff pretty inexpensively. And let's face it, guys, this stuff is very common, okay? Because they made a shit ton of these games. I mean, they made a ton of Golden Tees. There is no shortage of Golden Tees. At any given time, you can go on Craigslist and find a Golden Tee, okay? I saw one on Craigslist this week for like $300, I think it was, maybe $375, and it was a Golden Tee for 2004 or 5 or something like that, and it was a dedicated cabinet like this, and it was like $375. You know, I probably, you know, if I was in the market for one, I probably could have talked them down to $300. So that's what these games are going for now. The PCB to upgrade it to complete though is a little more. There is a guy on Clav. He's got a website, Arcade Adventures. You might want to reach out to him. Just Google Arcade Adventures because he can convert your PCB to complete, okay? So if you find a really cheap Golden Tee 4 board, and it could be any of the years, they can upgrade it to complete. And I think he actually goes through incredible technologies, like it's legit, so. But good luck with that. And then the perfect switcher kit is not cheap either. I got lucky and got mine used, but you know, you're probably going to be in it for almost $1,000 to get all three of those. To get Golden Tee complete, Silver Strike, and the perfect switcher kit, that's easily going to be $1,000. It is. It's a lot of scratch, I know, but it's worth it. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be back really soon. Okay, yes, I know I took 2 weeks off again. What the hell is wrong with me? Well, I did because it was 4th of July last weekend and I was doing all kinds of family stuff and I fully intended on doing a video. Next thing I know, the weekend was over. There's barbecues and picking up children and neighbors' parties and stuff, so I just wasn't able to work in the garage last weekend. I apologize. I'm not going to make any promises, but I really do plan on being back on track here, starting with this video. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my podcast, Video Game Outsiders, videogameoutsiders.com, Arcade Outsiders at arcadeoutsiders.com. Both of those are live on allgames.com on Tuesdays. So, all right, guys, that's it for this video. I will see you very, very soon. So, all right, guys, later and bye.